Good evening. It is Thursday today. I have sustained a minor injury. It's really incredibly minor, but it's also like a paper cut, very infinitely annoying. So I will show you that if you are particularly squeamish. Now is not the time. Okay. So I have, as you can see, a chunk missing from my finger, and it's red and angry. Look, it's kind of, basically it was itchy, and I was scratching it like this kind of thing with my thumbnail. It was basically a really deep blister. So what happened is the blister happened, and I noticed that all the skin was kind of split underneath. So, because when I was doing the scratching, I could feel it moving, and then it split. And so I trimmed away the flappy skin, because flappy skin's even more annoying, and I'm left with a very sore hole. Now, it's not directly on the end of my finger, but it is, depending on how you pick things up, you do catch it on things. So, slightly annoyed, but that's the way life goes. Now, today we are hoping to do plenty of this. Now, obviously, normally what happens is that I am not at this point near a Thursday or a Friday. So, we're kind of ahead of schedule, because usually the last bit, hello, Flus and V, the last bit's usually kind of at the weekend. So, we're going to have to turn the corner at some point. Tomorrow, however, I have a webinar thing I wish to attend at 4 o'clock. So tomorrow's stream will have to end just before 4 so that I can do that. However, I still intend to stream, so it's not like I'm ditching you. So don't be miss, alright? It will just be shorter. So, let me organise myself a little bit. We're going to put you over there, scrunch you up as much as we can, grab you. I do have a horrible feeling that Finger is going to hate lace making, but we shall see, It's certainly going to hate rolling the whole bobbin thing. Yeah, it doesn't like rolling bobbins, absolutely hates rolling bobbins, but I wonder if that's why I got the annoyed Finger in the first place. Do I need pins? Do I not need pins? Do I need pins? Do I not need pins? Let me realise I have not pushed down some pins that I could push down, which are these ones here. 1, 2, 3. Should be another one. 4, 5 there. Yep, that's good. That holds the middle. So I can start nicking some of these from the back. So how are you, Felice and B? Nice. So basically you're all hot, sweaty and horrible. Oh no. Being late sucks. Especially when it's not your fault. If you were doing something, completely forgot, got involved with it and it's your own fault, that's one thing. But when you did everything right and you're still late, that just sucks. Nice. I bet those leathers smell something horrid. Because it's how leathers go after all, isn't it? Of course. As you say, at least it wasn't leather. Something about biking leathers just always honks. I mean, even on a good cold day, they can still honk, you know? Oh, this finger's going to be really annoying. Poor. Nice. Wow. This doesn't feel right. Yes, poor finger. Poor. I hurted my paw. Well, go you! If it's any consolation, hang on, some of this... This is one of those, I go back slightly and it doesn't look right at all. So bear with me while I undo a few things and try and work out what the fucking hell I did. Because this is coming from a pin below. These are coming from pins above. And it doesn't feel like I've got all the right things. That looks better. Yeah, that's better. It is. No, I've still got it. I would say, I don't have it here, but I've got a jumper that I had when I was in sixth form. So I was 15 and 16 kind of thing, right? Well, I was 16, I guess. I still fit in that. And I need to explain this. I am not a skinny individual. I make no beefs about it. I openly admit that, quite frankly, I'm fat. There is approximately 20 stone of me. Irrelevant to what units you measure your weight in, just imagine 20 of them, and I am fat. I'm 5'7", and I'm 20, and I am fat. When I was at school, I was 9. I was the same height. But somehow, I still fit. And it's not like I squeeze into it with, and can't breathe. No. It's still good. I mean, clearly it must have been baggier on me at the time, but I don't remember it being particularly baggier. It must have been, and I know it must have been. But it still kind of fits. And I've got a shirt from back then and all. And that still kind of fits too. I mean, it's a little bit tighter on the arms, but... I mean, how damn big were these things on me back then? It must have been like a tent on me back then. If I can be more than double my weight back then, and it still fits, Ooh. So, tell us about Kitty. Tell us about this potential new Kitty. I mean, don't get me wrong, we'll get to your sock yarn, but somehow Kitty is major effect here. Ah. Nice. Sweet. Oh, oh, so little tiny baby cutie. Oh, that is insanely cutie. So, I'm going to do, actually, I can do it the other way, hang on. Hang on. In there. Hang on, let me do a quick, this, that, this one. Okay. Look at Kitty! Look how cute the kitty is! We all want the kitty. We all want the kitty. Oh, I so wish you luck with that, dear. Oh, cutie. What a cutie. Now you're ugly and horrible and smelly. Yes, you are. Amy, you are. You're horribly ugly, miserable. You're ugly, horribly ugly and smelly. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are. Yes. So I am now being forced to hug the dog. Hence the bobbins moving. That's the dog, not me. Yes. You are horribly ugly and smelly. Yes, you are. And of course has no idea what I'm saying, so there you go. Oh, I am. You can't see them, but I am. Yes, you're a good girl, really. You are. You are. she has discovered that if she sits still long enough, she actually does get the hugs that she wanted. It's taken a while, like a few years, you know. What have you got on your ear? I still haven't forgiven you for trying to gas me. No. No, I haven't. You did. You tried to kill me. You did. Yes, you did. Yes, I did. Now you put snot on my glasses. You put snot and slob all over my glasses. Thank you for that. As if my eyesight wasn't terrible enough. Oh. Apparently my lap is not big enough and she wishes for more space. Don't really want my hand licked, you know. No, I don't. Look, stick your nose forward a bit. No, they can't see you. Let's see if I can do something about that. Hang on. Let's see if I can bring this down here a little bit. Right, that's as close as that's going to get. But your nose. Where's the nose? No, you can't reach, can you? Not while sitting down. Not unless I move the camera. No. And everyone will get seasick if I try moving the camera. I need to do some lace making, because that is kind of why we're here. We're not here to hug the dog. No, not that way. Okay, less dog. Right. I have to be careful when pinning these because, as you can see, it ends up very, very close to my saw bit. So, you're done. I would hug his lordship, but he is busy doing dog things elsewhere, namely trying to sleep, so I'm going to let him stay doing that. Because after all, the best dog is a dog who's asleep. So yes. Why do I always get an itchy back when I sit down to stream? Or is it just a case of I notice it's itchy when I stream? we are nearly a quarter of a way through it. And we still haven't actually finalised the strip to print out, nor have we printed it, nor have we pricked it, and nor have we started it. So, yeah, the square itself is going. The preparation for the world to come, not so much. I have done some more on the strip, in the sense of a little bit of tidy up and a little bit of, you know, shuffling around a little bit, but not a lot. There is the joining of squares. But to be honest, I do imagine that should, in theory, be a fairly quick event. That is comparatively quick, I believe. Well, judging by other things, it is a quick. Especially with the way I intend to join. So yeah, that shouldn't be too bad. I need to do something with my finger. Part of me wants to put glue on it. Now I know that that seems like a stupid thing to do. But part of me wants to put glue on it so I've got a protective barrier. And I don't have any liquid skin. Yeah, I imagine, to be honest, the joining of squares should really not be particularly difficult. I had an itchy bit and I kept rubbing it like this with my nail, and then I was doing this and realised that the skin was moving, so it split underneath, so the top layer, like a blister, but it was really deep down. And then of course it split and became flappy and very angry, so I trimmed the flap off because, well, I'll just pick at it and yank, and if I yank it'll probably go up to my armpit. So this is how much had lifted. And now, of course, it's angry and sore. Because, well, that's what fingers do. But, of course, being my pointer finger on my dominant hand, now it's not... If I press my fingers together, it doesn't touch. So, from that point of view, it's okay. So I can type, I can... But when you do anything with bobbins like rolling, I roll over it. Or when I peel up these pins, the pin tends to be really close to it. So it's just that fractionally in the way. Oh, I am a very much picker. I'll pick anything, frankly. It's part of the reason I never wanted staples after surgery, because I'll want to pick those. I didn't. I was very good. I was so good you'd be so proud of me. I didn't pick any of it. What I will say, though, is that the doctor then took the staple... Well, a doctor, not the doctor, a doctor took the staples out. And, well, let's just say it wasn't quite as well healed as you or I would have been comfortable with, personally, on taking the staples out, i.e., well, it was kind of coming apart. So I ended up buying some strips and stuff, from Amazon, of course, and gluing myself repeatedly together for a while. And do you know what? Yeah, it's the only bit of the scar that looks good, isn't it? One bit of it looks like I'm about to like have a head explode out of Aliens. It's about that wide in one place. The scar, she says, yeah, it's about that wide. The bit I did, tiny. They kind of took them out a bit early, in my opinion, but there we go. You know, just because the surface had kind of joined together, the bit underneath to give it stability hadn't. Yes. Hence, I kind of want to put glue in it to make a hard barrier. I mean, I've got super glue, I've got fabric glue, I've got bead glue, I've got glue. I've got PVA, I've got... Yeah, but at least if I don't pick it for a short while, you know, because, you know, of course I'll fucking pick it, but day with a wine it, of course I'll pick it, but do I need oxygen to breathe? Well, yes I do. Ooh, that one smarted. Woohoo! Needless to say, it slipped on the more solid bit of my finger to the very raw bit of my finger. Well, I'm awake. Go me. Yow! Again, the uncontrollable laughter of death here. Thing is, I could go and put a plaster on it, right? Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking of trying to protect myself from. And then, of course, it immediately happened. So, let me find my glue. It should be over here in the pot. There it is. Ugh. Stingity, sting, sting, sting. Wait for it to dry. The list standard of repair is generally quite practical from that point of view. Because it's gel super glue, it's less ideal because it doesn't run so much. So it will take a little longer to dry, but already it looks slightly less manky because it's filled in a bit. I just need it to dry now. Seem to recall actually I put some glue on my stomach, which was when I had the steri strips. I think I put glue on it and strips to hold it together. It's funny how that's the best bit. And before anyone asks, super glue, much as it does sound really quite horrendous and stupid, basically sterile super glue is used in medicine, so it's not as daft as it seems. They do often glue things, especially head wounds, because there isn't really any flesh to attach to. So yeah, gluing it is not as daft as it sounds, to be honest. Now, obviously, you do have issues such as any wound that has blood in it or any other form of liquid, so pus, platelets, or otherwise. Super glue doesn't work so well on a wet surface. You do need it to be dry. It's dry. It's just not drying as fast as I would like. So yes, it is drying. It's just not drying as fast as I'd like. I would consider myself a faddy crafter. So I will be all in, such as making a net curtain. And then one day I'll wake up and I'm all for something else now. I do appreciate, though, the idea of spinning outside. Because even if your wheel is, let's say, portable enough to be carried outside without causing, pokes in the eye and ribs and swearing, tripping over the dog, breaking it, kind of level of stuff. Let's say it's a kind of an upright wheel. It's a castle rather than a Saxony wheel. But, so maybe like my Spinolution, it's even got a handle on it to make it a bit more carryable. They're usually kind of heavy and a bit awkward to take outside. And if the weather's potentially a little dodgy, you don't really have that I can quickly get up and move indoors should the weather look to be turning kind of moment. I do know the feeling. As I say, I've got my Spinolution here. I don't have any of my other wheels here, and yes, I do have many others. And my Spinolution, because it's made out of 3-inch plywood, that thing could take on the world and not even notice. So from that perspective, it's not going to get damaged easily or anything like that. But I do find myself, hang on, I need to turn this bit down, hang on. And I need to turn it down using the wrong finger, which is a bit weird. That's a bit better. So I like you, I could go outside. I've got lots of way. I mean, I think the hardest part for me here is that the best sunshine is my front garden, not my back garden. So sitting kind of out the front of my house spinning would be a thing. Now, fortunately, not many people come into our road, and so to an extent, I'd be fairly safe because old lady who lives next door, She owns half the universe, but the old lady who lived next door doesn't tend to walk past my house. She might drive past it once a day or something, but she doesn't really tend to walk past it. My next door neighbours would be very pleasant and nice and interested, and they would be, they'd be exactly the kind of people you wouldn't mind coming and saying hello. The other neighbour, I don't know. I mean, part of me says they'd love it because they're really into reusable and green and all the rest of it. So from that point of view, I think they would be interested. Yeah, doing any crafting in public can get you mixed responses. And it doesn't matter, male, female, somewhere in the middle, whether you're, knitting Hagrid style on the train, a thing the size of a yellow tent, or whether you're, doing a little bit of cross stitch, whether you're doing, you've got a little drop spindle and a small ball of fluff. People do tend to look at you funny. I can't remember what I took because I was going to wait in the doctor's surgery, and we all know that, well, certainly over here in the UK, if your doctor's appointment is 4 p.m, you must arrive just before 4 p.m. You can arrive a lot earlier, but you're wasting your life. If you arrive at like 3:59 and 30 seconds, that's fine. If you arrive at 4 and 1 second, you've missed your appointment. Well, you haven't, because they're running at least 90 minutes late. But now they won't let you check in and they'll get pissy with you. And I think that's one of the things. I can't remember what I took with me. It wasn't crochet, and I don't think it was knitting either. I can't remember what I was doing. But I took something with me. Maybe it was crochet. But I'd taken something with me because I knew it was going to be a wait, because it's always a 90-minute wait, right? Especially at the end of the day. And I did have someone saying, oh, well, that looks interesting. What are you making? But it wasn't a big thing. It's kind of wasn't quite granny square style, but it's got to be something fairly portable. Because let's face it, if you're making a king-size bedspread, you don't really want to be carting, 2 meters square around with you. That's a lot to be carrying. So it has to be something that's fairly portable. Even if it is only fairly portable, i.e. it fits in a carrier bag. It's right, the glue is drying. It's just taking a real freaking long time about it. And stinging quite a bit while it does it. But that's what super glue does, so that's fine. I don't mind it doing that. But it does look, already looks better. You can't see a big hole in my finger now. Just because it's kind of filled it in a bit. It is 99% dry. I'm watching it while the dog's licking my other hand. Yeah, socks, gloves, those kind of things always work. A scarf can work. Part of me would love to take, say, lace making, because, well, if you've got a 90-minute wait, at least you'll get something done. The problem is it's not entirely portable, because, you can't really fit it on your lap. Yeah, I think I didn't really take anything to school. Oh, stop licking my hand, Rory, please. Come on, up you come. Come on, little man. Right. It is so infernally close to being dry. It's 2 little dots now. Almost the size of pinholes that aren't dry yet. But we all know that if I go to pick up a pin, guess where the pin will go, right? So I'm going to wait. I will be patient. I just need not to be dogged. Yes, little man. Yes, little man. You and your claws. You and your biggity claws. Out. Oh, eat. Hello. Oh, dog alerts. I don't see why. There's a guy here in the UK called James. I can't remember, I've forgotten his surname off the top of my head. And he's kind of famous because he's Long Draw James. I mean, to be honest, I probably wouldn't crochet at a lecture on the grounds that the lecturer would automatically assume I'm not listening. Now, the fact is I can't just sit and listen to something. I have to be doing something. And I think that's where, like many of us, a lot of the crafting pull is that, you know, yes, I can go to the cinema and watch a film, but that's because you've got the full surround sound, the dark, the no dog wanting to go out. You don't tend to get up for a pee, you tend to go before and after, you know. And so you get to fully immerse in the film because the screen is the size of the universe, and you kind of get into it. But just watching it on a TV that's in the corner of your room while you've got all your shit around you and all these things calling, going, hello, you could be touching me, you could be typing on me, you could be playing with me, you could be making things, and you can't not. And the number of times I've had a program on and I've really wanted to watch it, and I don't. I end up doom scrolling, I end up crafting, I end up typing, playing a game, and I actually miss it all because I can't just sit and watch it. I have to do something else as well. There you go, see, look, oh nice. It's got a bit of, it doesn't hurt now, so. See if I can find something about him. I mean, I haven't spoken to him for ages, but there he is, Long Draw James. Is he still alive? Well, I assume he's still alive. 2 weeks ago, he was printing. He posted some ning. So let me. This is definitely the same guy because bear in mind I've met him, right? I bought a spinning wheel off him actually. I met him in Bristol. He was staying with some friends in Bristol, so I drove to Bristol. It's quite away from here, but you know, I drove to Bristol. He got to Bristol. We met up in the middle. Hang on, finding my window. Suffering from window loss. There you go. Long Draw James. He's a really lovely guy. He absolutely is a lovely guy. So, you know, and he's got no qualms about. So, you know, utter respect for the dude, I really do. I mean, I can do long draw spinning, you know, and all the rest of it, but nothing like as fast. I mean, I think long draw spinning is one of the ones where the speed matters. Everyone goes, oh, it's not about the speed. No, but depending on how your brain works, if your brain is working faster than the spinning wheel is capable of doing is putting the twist in your yarn, it kind of does. And what do I mean by that? So, sorry, I'm just checking a few things. Because with long draw spinning, obviously you kind of go, voodoo, right? And hope that it doesn't all fall apart and you're going to spend the next 10 minutes rethreading your wheel. Which is all you ever do when you first start trying it. Because the voodoo motion, where you basically let go and pull and hope, if it means you can only kind of go, voodoo, you're not getting the twist in to make that practical. You're more likely to have it fall apart and annoy the living shit out of you. So you have to find a speed that works the same way your body feels is right for the word voodoo, right? And it's not a bad thing. Speed is not a bad thing. You can do it slow, you can do it fast. But you and it have to agree on the speed. And for James, speed is of the essence. I mean, the dude really does have the fastest speeds He's had specially made things because he needs faster, right? And you know, and it's not a golden ratio as in you must have 1 to 3 a 1 to 3 ratio on your treadle and all the rest of it. It is a golden ratio between you and your wheel, and only you and your wheel can really agree on that. And you can't really put it into words other than I'm treadling like a maniac and I still want faster. Yeah, or it's going too fast, I need slower. Right, that is about as all you can really define. It's not like a metronome when you go, hey, 186 beats a minute. It doesn't work like that. It's hard to pinpoint that. And it's the same with electronic wheels. I mean, I've got a little... There's just so... I mean, from a scientific point of view, there is so many variables in the thing because your mood entirely matters. Moods so matter. Heat of the day. If it's really hot, you're a bit more sluggish. If it's really cold, your hands are cold and don't really want to play. There's kind of like each thing has a too small, too big, somewhere, Goldilocks effects, too hot, too cold, somewhere in the middle. And you've got to align all of the somewhere in the middles for the perfect day. Otherwise, there is a huge potential of repeatedly rethreading your machine, an excessive amount of swearing, not good for in public, obviously. No one really wants that in public, to be sitting there and going the whole kind of fucking bollocks. That's kind of not the public spinner any of us would want to be. I mean, it's probably the public spinner I would be, but it's not what we want to be, So with all of that in mind, there is definitely a sweet spot, and it can be different with every wheel. Now, I'm sure, Davicott, you have the same. Exactly. But on top of that, you can have some wool fibre. And now I tend to be, I let it kind of go the way it wants to spinner. Now, it's not that I can't make it do what I want it to do, but if a pile of fluff kind of wants to be a super skinny yarn, well, if I force it not to be, well, it's probably not the right thing to do. Similarly, if it wants to be a fat yarn, well, a fat yarn it can be. Unless I have something excessively specific in mind, I'm kind of willing to go with the flow and let it be what it wants to be. And so I find that it is, I mean, I'm perfectly capable of adapting it to my own requirements. I just don't want the fight, If I'm fighting it, it's not really fun anymore. It's like anything. If you're having to put, if you're having to like swim upstream just to stay still, it's taking the fun out of the lazy day by the pool. It's So yeah, I tend to let my spinnings do with become whatever it is they feel their calling was. I do not force them into, well, this should be a lace weight yarn. No, if it doesn't want to be. If it wants to be a super fat honking chonking yarn, then it's going to be a super fat honking chonking yarn. Now, most yarns don't generally turn into that. It is usually within, again, a scale. They end up between kind of normal chunky and lace weight for me. But some just don't want to be chunky. Some just don't want to be lace weight. And as you say, some days, you know, spinning silk is the perfect thing to do. And other days, don't even pick it up. Just don't even look at it, because you're going to hate yourself for even touching it. It's going to turn into bath before you know, right? And we don't need that. The world is, you know, life is too short for some of that. And well, and I'd be the same. It's part of the reason I don't sell anything as well, is that if I've got some fluff and I want some yarn, I make some yarn and go, yay, now what can I make with the yarn that I've made? I don't necessarily sit down and go, right, I am going to make a jumper out of sock weight yarn. I'm going to make my sock weight yarn out of this fluff. No, because how dare I tell that fluff that you're now going to be sock weight sized yarn, and that it can't be what it wants to be. So yeah, I buy fluff with the intention of it would be nice if, but if that's not what it wants. Now, some of it is maybe today that's not what my brain is prepared to do, and subconsciously my brain is influencing it, because I'm not going to pretend that that's not slightly a thing. But like you say, it's. I made a load of tea towels. I made lots of tea towels for people out of my weaving, right? And the only thing I would allow them to pick was the colour. Don't you be telling me what it should look like, how, you know, or any of the sort. I will make you a tea towel that will hold far more water than any of the commercial shit you'll ever buy. Give me some colours, or give me colours you don't want. Choice is yours. And I will make you some tea towels. And my boss went, anything, so I gave him pink. Sorry. But he liked them, which I thought was even funnier. I had all these different shades of pink, so I went to town on the pink. I got rid of quite a bit of my pink stash, you know. I mean, it's still sore to roll the bobbins, but it's not as sore. I mean, as I... And I think that's also the problem with dyeing. It's very difficult to dye. Absolutely. You can dye in the direction of, but to dye precisely so that they are all the same, for example, is real hard. And then, of course, if you've got to make yarn for it to spin from it and be absolute, right? Hang on. I got to yell. Hang on. I mean, part of us we'd all like to think that people, I mean, for me, I don't know about you, but when I've spun my own yarn, my hope is that people will go, oh, where did you buy that? That they will assume it is commercially made yarn, for it has that air of consistency and all the rest of it, of a bought product, i.e. like this, you know, as this is cotton, for example, that if I got cotton and spun this, not that I would generally, but, you know, let's go with the principle, that it looks like this, that it doesn't have lumps, bumps and wiggly bits in it. And so they don't go, so when I go, I made that, they kind of go, never, kind of thing, right? It's the same with, oh, that's a pretty jumper. Well, I made it. Really? You want that, I mean, I want that. I know what you mean. I don't want them to look too commercial, but I want them to not look too handmade. So, I think I've told you guys before. My ex-husband once said to me, and how he still lived through this, I am not entirely sure. Handmade items are supposed to have mistakes in it. When you've just spent hours making some shit and not intentionally making mistakes, trying really hard not to, this is the last phrase you want to hear. Now, it's not supposed to have mistakes in it. They usually do. And they can be, you know, I will say my knitting ones are a lot more minor than it seems than my lace making ones. But they're not supposed to have mistakes in them. They just more likely do have mistakes in them. But the fact that he swore that it was supposed to have mistakes in it angered the hell out of me. I nearly shoved it all down his face because it is kind of insulting. So you're telling me you don't think I can do a proper job. You're telling me I'm not supposed to be able to do this. But, you know, that's not the aim, right? And I think that's part of my thing, is that I want people to have a slight air of, really, you made that? But that it's not that they think, oh, I don't believe you, you paid some, you know, you bought that somewhere up market. It's, you know, and it's got a big fat, you know, commercial label on it, obviously, because it wouldn't. But at the same time, I want them to kind of be marginally surprised it's... Yeah, but that's supposed to come naturally and not be blatantly obvious. I mean, it's a bit like if one sleeve's 6 inches longer than the other, you know? We don't set out to do that. It's just not what we set out to do. We might have achieved it, and we might be really good at achieving it, but it's not what you intended, right? It just seems to happen somewhere along the way. And so, yeah, for me, I want something like you said, Felicity. I want it to look that if I'd said, you know, if someone said, "Oh, where did you get that?" and you go, "Oh, I bought it from so-and-so," you go, "Oh, I really like that," and not be surprised that it's bought. But at the same time, that if you go, "I made that," then they go, "Oh, that's really nice." Yeah, I do get that, and I you know, as I've said quite a few times about the mistakes that I find in my lace making, I am not intentionally making a single one of them, but I'm really adept at making them, that's for sure. I mean, you've all seen me now a number of times, and I look back and it's kind of, oh, for fuck's sake, how did I get that wrong? Now, some of them I can't walk away from, because it would be, you know, you end up with the wrong number of bobbins, it would throw out the whole, you know, especially like the first quarter, because it would throw out the rest of the square, right? If it's right at the very end and, you know, maybe you've got a fudge it margin in, it won't show too much, yeah, fine, whatever, right? And as you know, I have a general rule of thumb that if the pins have come out and I can now see a mistake, well, that's the way it is, right? She says, thinking she'd just seen another mistake, actually. Where's my pokey thing? I think it's just the way the knot has come through on that. Anyway, nothing exciting. But I want people to believe either way, that if I said I made it, that they're kind of go, oh, that's really nice. Or that if I bought it, oh, that's really nice. I don't want them to go, oh, no way you bought that. It looks like the dog ate it. Right? Or, you know, that kind of moment. I do want it to have enough uniqueness and handmade quality that, well, you know, with a careful inspection you can see there's no way this is commercial. But at the same time, I want it to look decent enough that people don't look at it and kind of going, are you sure you want to wear that today? You know? Are you sure that's not your staying at home top? You know, kind of thing, right? Or what we in the British would say, are you sure that's not your painting gear? Basically, painting gear is the gear you wear while decorating your house. And don't care if it's now got lime green, pink and purple paint on it, you know? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not that I would paint my house in those colours either, but, you know, principles. It is the, you know, irrelevant to what colours you've painted your house, there'll be drops of it all over yourself. And so usually it is that pair of trousers that maybe don't have a particularly good crotch, or the knees missing. And you know, I know that holes in your jeans is kind of fashionable, but there's holes in your jeans and then, well, the holes in your jeans. You know, it's that kind of moment. Or maybe you have to do the fly up with safety pins, you know. Those are your painting trousers, right? And you know, you've obviously got, it's a bit like the girls who have a t-shirt for dyeing their hair. That kind of moment, right? We don't want it to look like that's all it should ever be. We want it to look good enough that you could wear it out in public and people wouldn't go, excuse me, love, did you mean to come out in that? Yeah, I think it's still a bit sore for rolling bobbins, but at least now it's got a protective layer on it, so I'm not stabbing myself straight in rawness. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Douche! Douche! That's what I wanted. Now, that's not what I wanted to do. It's not what I wanted. Now, somehow this is not right. That's because I'm a douche. So, you need to go through two. I knew it was wrong because that should be over there. Now you come back through. There we go. So yes, tomorrow's stream could be interesting, but as I say, it's going to be a bit shorter than usual because I want to go to this webinar thing at 4. Hang on, I need to type in the window. I apologise for the singing dogs in the background. Yeah. I love my dogs, but I love them more when they sleep. We apparently have beans at the moment. had fun or not, as the phrase may be, at work today. So it's been a long day today. And one of the things I know I do is pick at my skin. Now usually it's the sides of my thumbs when I'm stressed. And I have been known to pick down to the bone. With all the blood that entails with that. And I don't really notice. Which is part of the reason I think that by scratching at my finger, I probably made the blister, and it wasn't the blister I was scratching at, it was the blister that was formed by me scratching it. I'm not going to pretend that that's not a good potential. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, yeah. Let's not pretend that it's not self-inflicted war wound here. It's quite likely. And once again, I can't get close enough to see this to check where everybody goes. You are a pair. It looks like these two weren't a pair and I'd gone wrong somewhere. But I'm confident they are a pair. goodness sake. Oh, God, excuse me. I'm confident you are not part of this for the moment. Oh, sorry. I need you to stay over there. always seem to do one short. Right, I need to sort some of these bobbins out. Yeah, because you're just untidy. A wind bobbin with saw finger, that's loads of fun. Oh, peepers, yawny yawn. I'm just winding bobbins, really. You 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, due to nursing a finger, itching, tiredness, dogs, life, hungry, crappy days at work, and all the rest of it, much as I love you very much, and I honestly really do enjoy my time with you guys. You do make my days better, which means a lot, to be honest. It does mean a lot. You make my days better. Please never doubt that you do. But I'm going to go, and it's 8:30, so by the time I've uploaded this, done the post and everything, it's nearly always late, right? I mean, it just always seems to be late. But I'm going to go and take my finger. Hello, Amy. Thank you. You're going to show your nose on screen. Look, nose. There you go. Nose on screen. Good girl. So me and Amy are going to... It is a snoot. You do. And I snogged it. There you go. I did. Did I snog your snoot? I did. I did snog the dog. Now don't bite my face. Cow. Because as you go, mwah, you end up opening your mouth, so does she. But she hasn't twigged that you don't bite her. So she kind of goes to then, like, not hurt, but she tends to try and use her teeth. And it's not kind of what we're after. I had one from Rory the other day. Well, I don't get a lot of time before tomorrow's stream to recharge them, because tomorrow's stream's only going to be a couple of hours. We should finish the triangle tomorrow, but I will need to go just before 4 o'clock so I can go and do the webinar thing. To be honest, I'm probably not going to learn anything, but I do want to go. I've signed up for it because I'm interested and I want to see what they've got to say, if nothing else. So, and it is a webinar on... Hang on. Just so you know. It is GPU-driven rendering on Web GPU with Fantasy Kingdom. So Fantasy Kingdom is a Unity kind of test scene-y thing. Sort of game, but it's not a game. But it's about getting CPU, GPU-driven stuff on a web browser, which, frankly, hello, that'll be really useful. So I am kind of keen to see how that turns out and what they're talking about. I will say that quite often their webinars are a little bit rough. That's the word for it. They're either blurry. They don't. It's pre-recorded, so they don't explain anything. And when you say, "Excuse me, how does that work?" they can't go and show you because it's not live. So it can be a little bit. But I still enjoy going, if nothing else, to ask the awkward questions. So I am kind of looking forward to that tomorrow. But it is tomorrow. Of course, it had to be tomorrow, didn't it? Normally they do these things on a Tuesday. So yes, I will see you tomorrow about 2 o'clock. But I will have to go just before 4 so I can join that. Although there is confusion as to whether it is 4 or 5 p.m, to be honest. But I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.